Sir, we are welcome to the in the CS Changemaker 20 Youth Program. This is a part of the G20 event as the partnership with the Youth 20 and Civil 20. Sir, we are glad to have there for speaker sessions Dr. Ramesh Kumar. There is a speaker for this session. Sir, you are continued with your panelist now.
Circular economy happens to be juxtaposition between climate change mitigation and adaptation. And I was supposed to be talking about circular economy, the path to zero waste. I changed the subject to talk about circular economy, the path to zero waste and zero emissions. My work on circular economy commenced in the year 1979 when I was working on a research work on utilization of fly ash, which was a major problem, fly ash coming from the power plants. And it was a major problem, and the entire country was facing this problem. And then the research I did was to develop a particular type of cement called Portland pozzolana cement and to make bricks from fly ash. And after that, I think I've done many things in the area of circular economy. First of all, I would like to touch upon the point of waste. What is waste? The moment we think of waste, we conjure in our mind an image to get rid of it. The very word waste leads to waste. So what should we do? We should get rid of the word waste. How do we do that? I and you don't have the power to change the dictionary. So what do we have to do? We have to change our mindset. Humans have to change their mindsets to treat waste as a resource. Once we are able to do that, we will be able to take care of the waste and utilize it to the best of our ability. As the world races towards a net zero future, the intersection of net zero emissions and a circular economy is becoming a hot topic. In this presentation, we'll explore the opportunities and challenges that this particular intersection presents to us. It is very important that we realize that net zero is not an end by itself. It's a journey towards an end. And we may never be able to reach the utopic solution of net zero waste and net zero emissions. Regenerative, restorative, waste-free products and systems are the need of the hour and are essential to have a circular economy all over the world. It is very important and very essential for all of us to keep products and material in use for long as possible. Other than reduce, reuse, and recycle, we should have a concept of repair. We must repair our products and use them as long as we can. Because many times we throw products away, but still they are useful. And we don't try to use them because we get attracted by newer versions of the products that have come into the market. Therefore, we should reduce reliance on new resources and minimize waste. It is essential to minimize waste in all walks of life in which we are living. I know this is perhaps one of the last few talks that will be delivered during this Changemaker Summit. However, I would like to define what is circular economy based on my understanding of the subject and what I feel is pertinent regarding circular economy. Circular economy departs from the traditional linear economy model and promotes the use of renewable resources and the reduction of waste. What do we mean by renewable resources? Resources that can be used again and again. Therefore, circular economy is a concept that aims to reduce waste and promote sustainability by keeping resources in use as long as possible, extracting maximum value from those resources, and regenerating products and materials at the end of their useful life. I would like to reiterate, regenerating products and materials. It is an alternative to the traditional linear model or the linear economy, which follows a path of take, make, and dispose. In the circular economy, we do not follow this path. We need to rethink very carefully the circular economy or the net zero agenda. Net zero is a global agenda, net zero waste and net zero emissions. Therefore, there is need for a broader approach to the economy, production, consumption habits, and resource management. Circular economy aims for zero waste society. I would like to take this further, zero waste and net zero emission society as well. IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, recognizes the climate impact of waste reduction and recycling. But many countries across the world do not implement this in the letter and spirit that it should be implemented. Circular economy strategies leads to reduced emissions, and there is an urgent need for immediate implementation of circular economy concepts using the existing innovations and innovative technologies prevalent across the world. Now I would like to take some time to explain the concept. What do I mean by net zero emissions? Net zero means achieving a balance between greenhouse gas emissions produced and those removed from the atmosphere. Production and removal. Critical focus in global climate action efforts. This is the major focus of the climate change efforts that we are having. Reduce emissions and use methods to remove or offset remaining emissions. We need to offset these emissions if we can. Better would be still to remove them altogether. Transition to renewable energy, energy efficiency, carbon capture, sustainable consumption and production through SDG 12. And I think most of us don't think about this subject of conspicuous consumption. What do we really mean by conspicuous consumption? Buying products which we really don't need. If we are a family of 4 and we have 8 cars, why do we need so many vehicles? There was a study done by Harvard University, which I must point out because conspicuous consumption is increasing at an enormous rate, at an exponential rate, that the ultra-rich people spend half their wealth in proving to the world that they are rich. I am now going to touch upon some important examples of various organizations that are practicing circular economy on a routine and on a regular basis. There is a company called Thousand Fell. It makes shoes that uses sustainable materials and offers a recycling incentive program for its customers. When customers return their worn out shoes, they receive a $20 credit for their next purchase. See, circular economy needs to have an economic incentive as well, which Thousand Fell is providing. Subsequently, the returned shoes are recycled into new products. If that cannot happen, they are donated to people in need. Another very famous company is IKEA. All of us have heard about IKEA and the great work they are doing all over the world. The furniture giant has launched a buyback scheme in some countries, allowing customers to sell their own furniture back to the store for vouchers. The furniture is then resold, repaired, or recycled, giving it a new lease of life and thereby saving resources which are getting more and more scarce day by day because the natural resources are depleting and the population of the planet is increasing. Therefore, new lease of life is important. This is another example. There is a big chain called Burger King. The fast food chain has partnered with Loop to offer reusable packaging for its burgers, fries, and drinks. Customers can opt for the reusable containers and cups, which they can return to the store after use. The containers and cups are then cleaned and sanitized by Loop and reused for the next order. Very interesting. These examples are really important for us to understand and try to implement some of these practices being adopted by large corporations and even smaller ones, so to say. Adidas, the sportswear brand that has created a line of shoes and clothing made from recycled plastic waste collected from the oceans. This is already in the stores. The products are part of the Parley for the Oceans initiative, which aims to raise awareness and inspire action to protect the marine environment. You know, the marine environment is in great problem. Circular economy needs to be enhanced because there are huge billions of tons of plastics in the oceans, and a lot of the marine life is being impacted by the presence of waste plastics in the ocean. There are a lot of projects being conducted to save the oceans from the plastics that is in there. Renault, everybody has heard of Renault. It's a car manufacturer that has developed a circular economic model for its vehicles based on 4 different pillars. The pillars are eco-design, remanufacturing, recycling, and services. The company designs its cars to be easily dismantled and repaired, remanufactures parts from old vehicles, recycles materials into new components, and offers mobility services, very important services for car sharing and leasing. I talked of carpooling yesterday when I was speaking on the climate change mitigation and adaptations subject, particularly when regard to action by each one of us. Each one of us needs to change its mindset, and we must do our bit to save this planet, which is the only planet that exists. There is another company called Patagonia. This is a US company. It is an outdoor clothing company that has long-standing commitment to environmental and social responsibility. The company encourages customers to buy less, repair more, and recycle what they can't use. It also sells second-hand clothing through its worn wear program, worn out wear program, which extends the lives of garments and reduces waste. As you can see, many of these companies are using innovative methods to adopt the concept of circular economy in their day-to-day operations. Lush is another important company which make cosmetics that uses natural and organic ingredients and minimal packaging. Packaging waste is an area which needs very close examination, as the end consumer has no choice but to throw away the packaging in which the products are packed, and only then is able to use them. The company also offers a free face mask for every 5 empty pots the customer returns to the store. This was prevalent during the COVID time, and I think the company is planning to have more new offers in time to come. The pots are then cleaned and reused or even recycled into new pots. See, virgin manufacturing needs to be neglected, needs to be eliminated to the extent possible. Fairphone is a smartphone company that aims to create a fairer and more sustainable electronics industry. The whole world is finding it extremely difficult to dispose of e-waste that is being generated. The quantum of e-waste generated worldwide has crossed the 50 million ton mark, and I believe that within the next 10 years, it will cross the 100 billion mark, 100 million ton mark. Not 100 billion, 100 million. The company sources this material from conflict-free and ethical suppliers, designed its phone to be modular and repairable, and again it recycles old devices into new ones. And they are so new that we will probably not be able to tell the difference. Solar energy, as we all know, is a clean and renewable source of power that can reduce greenhouse gas emissions and dependence on fossil fuels. I personally believe that solar energy is a very good solution for residences as well, for people who have access to roofs. I personally have installed solar energy in my own house in Delhi and find that it has cooled the house because of the solar panels, and the electricity bill has also reduced substantially in the process. Solar panels, as I just mentioned, can be installed on rooftops, buildings, farms, and generate electricity from sunlight. Solar energy can also be used to heat water, cook food, or charge batteries, particularly the batteries of electric vehicles. As was discussed yesterday, I have done a lot of research on composting, as I have a PhD in the field of municipal solid waste management from the Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi. And as we all know, composting is a natural process that turns organic waste into nutrient-rich soil. Composting can reduce the amount of waste sent to landfills, where it would emit methane, a potent greenhouse gas, which is 28 times more potent than normal carbon dioxide. Composting can also improve soil quality, increase crop yield, and support biodiversity. And composting can help to reduce these big mountains of waste which continuously ignite on their own due to the methane that is generated that we see in various parts of the natural capital of India. Sharing economy, a model that enables people to access goods and services without owning them, is very, very important and is spreading very rapidly, exponentially across the world. Sharing economy platforms like Airbnb, we all know about them, Uber, most of us have heard about Uber, or Zipcar, allow people to rent out their homes, cars, or other assets to others who need them at a different periods of time. Sharing economy can reduce resource consumption, definitely. If you have a product and if you're sharing it within two people, you are reducing the resources that is required to make them. It can reduce waste generation and most importantly, the carbon footprint of the individual, the society, and the country. After talking so much about the various aspects of circular economy and what various technologies and companies are doing in this regard, let us now shift our focus to benefits of the circular economy. There are many benefits of adopting a circular economy. First and foremost, saving cost. Secondly, creating jobs. Third, preserving the natural resources which are depleting day by day. And these natural resources, many of them cannot be replenished. Reducing greenhouse gas emissions and enhancing innovation and competitiveness. Some examples of circular economy practices that are benefiting everybody are repairing, reusing, recycling, remanufacturing, refurbishing, and sharing of products and services, as I mentioned in the last slide. Most important, business innovation. Today is the era of business innovation all over the world. Circular economy creates revenue streams through product refurbishment, remanufacturing, and recycling. And it meets the demand for sustainable products, appealing to customers, consumers, and most importantly, investors who invest their life savings into many of these companies. Now I will come to the specific benefits that accrue when we adopt a circular economy. Reducing the use of non-renewable resources. The circular economy concept is all about making better use of natural resources like forest, soil, water, air, metals, and minerals. By reusing, repairing, remanufacturing, and recycling products and materials, we can reduce the demand for new resources and preserve the natural capital for future generations. Please remember, we don't own this earth. We have inherited it from our ancestors, and we must give it to our next generations better than what we have received from our ancestors. If we make a mess, our future generations are not going to forgive us. So we need to be very careful, and we need to adopt the circular economy. Specific benefits of adopting the circular economy, as I mentioned, leads to lowering of carbon emissions, about 45% of global greenhouse gas emissions come from product use and manufacturing as well as food production. By shifting to renewable energy and materials, improving product efficiency, and removing the waste from the supply chains, we can lower the carbon footprint of our consumption and production patterns. Very important, because the kind of lifestyle, if all of us were to live the way the people live in the United States, we probably need 5 years. But we have only one. So please look after it. Like you look after your own child. The earth needs our attention very urgently. Very important is protecting human health and biodiversity. If you don't practice circular economy concepts, you'll be damaging human health and biodiversity. Many products are already getting extinct. Many species are also getting extinct. Many plants, medicinal plants, they are all getting extinct. The linear economy generates massive amounts of waste and pollution that harm human health and the environment. For God's sake, let us not let this continue. For example, more than 9 million deaths occur each year due to air, water, and soil pollution. That's more than when people died in the Second World War. More than all the people that died in war altogether. The circular economy aims to design out waste and pollution and to regenerate natural systems. We need to generate these natural systems because they support the life on Earth, which is critical for the existence of all species on this planet. Boosting economies. Circular economy will boost the economies of many, many countries across the globe. Research shows that the circular economy offers a 4.5 trillion, yes, ladies and gentlemen, 4.5 trillion economic opportunity by reducing waste, stimulating innovation, and creating employment. New business models focused on reuse, repair, remanufacturing, and sharing offer significant innovation opportunities. I have repeated these terms many times in this presentation so that you are able to really understand the importance of these in our daily life and for the survival of the planet. Again, the idea example needs to be highlighted, IKEA example, where they take back their own furniture and give you discounts on the new ones. Today, the whole world is crying that there is a shortage of dogs all over the world, particularly in developing countries where the youth population is very high. Circular economy will help in creating more and better jobs. particularly in the areas of recycling, remanufacturing, repair and maintenance, as well as in emerging fields. Which are the emerging fields? Green technology, digital platform, and circular design. Circular design is catching up very fast with the youth. Everybody is now interested in having a circular design of their product. Definitely, these jobs will be more skilled, will require more skills, and be more diverse and inclusive than those in the linear economy, and will excite the youth to really put their best foot forward. Now, I would like to shift a little bit after discussing so much on circularity, jobs, renewables, and all kinds of things. Look at circular economy and climate change. In my view, climate change is one of the most pressing challenges being faced by humanity ever. Therefore, linear economy contributes significantly to climate change through resource extraction, production, and disposal. Waste itself emits greenhouse gases through its life cycle. So as I mentioned, if there is no waste, there will be no greenhouse emission. Circular economy offers a powerful solution, which I discussed yesterday, to mitigate the adverse impacts of climate change. I would now like to touch upon briefly on waste prevention. How can we prevent waste? I would like to reiterate, first and foremost, waste must be considered as a resource. We should not treat waste as waste. And according to many scientists, the best utopic solution is that waste is never produced in the first place. If we don't produce the waste, there will be no need to dispose of it. There's no need to do anything with it. We'll have a circular economy without waste. When I have been studying waste management and waste prevention, it is always found that waste prevention is the top option in the waste hierarchy. Naturally, it's obvious that if you prevent the waste, it is the best for the entire world. The next point is extremely relevant. Prevented food waste would save 4.5 tons of CO2 per ton of wasted food. Another study that I recently read highlights that in the United States, food that is served on the plates, 40% of it is wasted, which is enough. I would like to repeat, which is enough to feed the rest of the world. Please note. Another critical issue is maximization of material recovery. Please remember that all these issues that I'm raising today are based on my close to 4 decades of experience in this line, having worked on various projects in various organizations, both in India and internationally, and Having been in charge of knowledge management at the UN system in India for several years. Therefore, in a circular economy, all discards are safely and efficiently recovered. We must ensure this to maximize material recovery. And there has to be separate collection systems for reuse, repair, and recycling. And naturally, the positive effects from climate change and resource efficiency will lead to better life of people on the planet as well. We need to redesign and phase out products. If products can't be reused or recycled, redesign or phase them out. It's obvious, but it's not so easy. So this must be looked at the conceptual design stage itself, how this can be done. And we need to ban products for non-recyclable items have shown success. This is showing success if you ban product from non-recyclable items. So product bans for non-recyclable items are extremely essential. Clean production and toxic substance avoidance are crucial. Very crucial because they not only affect human health, they affect the health of many other species, flora and fauna of the earth. We need to reform energy and GHG accounting. Current accounting methods don't fully address resource management potential. Consumption-based accounting is very important as its accounting method captures the true impact of the emissions that are taking place, reconsidering biogenic emissions and energy preservation is the need of the hour, ladies and gentlemen. Another subject which must be dealt with. Today my effort is to give you a very, very holistic presentation on circular economy, as I believe that my presentation would be probably the last presentation of this particular summit, the Changemaker Summit, and therefore I would like to include whatever is possible to the extent possible within the time frame that I have. I think I have another 15 minutes and I have only 4 or 5 slides left, so I should be able to complete it within the time frame allotted to me. Inclusive zero waste systems prioritize job creation and community involvement. Without the involvement of the community, all these circular economic measures will go for the toss. They will not happen. The community needs to be involved in every stage of the process. Informal recyclers contribute significantly to the GHG emissions, as we have seen in developing countries all over the world. Success stories of involvement of communities, due to the paucity of time, I will not highlight them here, but there are a number of success stories from cooperatives and worker-led schemes existing around the world. Although I've included this slide on phasing out waste incineration and landfills, as I believe waste to energy and landfills are unsustainable and contribute to the adverse impacts of climate change. Please remember, climate change is not anything of the future. It is happening today, it is happening now, it is happening everywhere, and at every time of the year, we are facing the brunt of climate change. Zero waste circular economy. What is our aim? is to abolish waste incineration and reduce landfill use. How can we abolish them? If there is no waste, there is no need for incineration, there is no need for landfill. These are utopic solutions, but we need to follow that path, because until we follow that path, we will nowhere be close to it ever. Focus on discard recovery, reduce waste, and sustainable alternatives is the key to develop our path to zero waste and zero emissions. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, I'm coming to the conclusions and the opportunities that we have on the concepts of circular economy, which have been being practiced since time immemorial. Circular economy is a model of production and consumption which involves sharing, leasing, reusing, repairing, refurbishing, and recycling existing material and products for as long as possible. These are the conclusions of whatever I have said so far. It is an alternative to the traditional linear economy, which follows take, make, dispose model that uses up the finite resources. Please remember, all the natural resources that we have are finite and they are not replenishable, and the linear economy uses these finite resources and generates waste, and another waste called pollution, various types of pollution: water pollution, air pollution, noise pollution, systemic pollution, you name it. Further approaching on circular economy conclusions and opportunities, I would like to highlight a circular economy is based on three principles driven by design. We have to ensure that during design itself, these three principles are followed. One, eliminate waste and pollution. Two, keep products and materials in use forever if possible. Three, regenerate the natural system that exists. It aims to decouple economic activity from the consumption of finite resources and reduce the environmental impacts of our consumption and production pattern. As mentioned earlier, it offers a $4.5 trillion economic opportunity by 2030. Just within the next 5 to 7 years, there's huge opportunity, as well as innumerable social and environmental benefits, ladies and gentlemen. I'm coming towards the end of this presentation of mine. And what are the recap of the key points that I have presented so far? Circular economy, net zero emissions, and waste prevention are interconnected solutions to address the adverse impacts of climate change that is being faced, in which all countries are facing the brunt of the brutal impact that climate change is giving all of us. A zero waste circular economy holds the promise of a sustainable, I would like to repeat, sustainable and equitable future. By embracing these principles, we can drive transformative change, ladies and gentlemen, for the betterment of our planet and all the species, including humans, that live on the earth. We must remember that humans are only one of the species living on the earth, and we should look at it that way, and we should even look at a paradigm which looks at extinction of the human species if required, Because only when we look at such a paradigm, we will allow other species to coexist on this planet and have a healthier and better planet for everyone. And with these words, I would like to thank you for your time, patience, and understanding.